Hello and welcome back to the Intuitive Health Studio podcast. My name is Kelsey. Thank you so much for joining me this week. This week I really wanted to talk about mornings, morning routines and morning rituals because lately I have just started to back integrate. I've had a couple months where it was really hectic and I really felt not having a morning routine or morning rituals, and I wanted to go through some things that I've learnt around morning routines and morning rituals to help you implement them and help it be achievable so you feel good about the morning. So when we're thinking about a morning routine or morning rituals, basically what I want to share with you is practices that you can do as soon as you wake up or within the first hour that sets you up for the day. When I've been talking to clients about this, what I try to explain to them is when we are getting up and rushing out the door, that sets our nervous system up for the day. It's like this rushed, this fight or flight energy, and then throughout the day we feel that it carries through. So whatever happens in the day, we're functioning off this kind of higher stress state. And then we get to the end of the day and we're completely worn out, we burn out, or we just kind of like flatline, we want to just go to bed. So being able to have intentional practices through the day is a great way to actually start the day and to start the day at a good foot. So first up is when we're looking at morning routines and morning rituals, let's debunk the myth or debunk the kind of notion that it has to be extravagant. It has to be like a sauna and a cold plunge, and then you have to do like face masks or roll your face with like those ice things. Like, it doesn't have to be extravagant. It needs to be intentional and something that actually grounds you and actually supports you and your nervous system. So thinking about your morning, I want you to ask yourself, how is your morning routine or your mornings looking like at the moment? Are you literally just getting up, like open your eyes, scrolling on your phone, getting up, getting ready, going out? If you are, I want you to take a step back and I want you to think about how much actual time you have in the morning to get ready and to do all that. This can go hand in hand with your sleep. So if you really don't have enough time in the morning, let's look at your sleep. Can you go to sleep a little bit earlier so you have a little bit of extra time in the morning? When we are looking at our morning routine, what I mean by intentional practices is things that don't take a lot of time, but you are actively participating in. It's not something that you're kind of passively participating in. You're actually interacting with this practice, and so you can feel the full effects of it. So to give you an example, last year was quite stressful. I had a lot of things going on, and over time my morning rituals slipped. So instead of in the morning I would get up, go for a walk, meditate, journal, it slipped into the pattern of wake up, grab my phone, look at my emails, start to scroll on Instagram, and then I maybe got a walk in, probably not really had meditation or journaling in, and then I would start my day. I found that throughout the day, I was a lot more stressed, on edge, anxious, because I started my day consuming things that weren't serving me and they weren't like supporting me and supporting my health and mental health and everything like that. So what I did this year, like new year, new me, I really, really went into that. I really wanted to go back to things that I knew worked for my nervous system. So if you didn't listen to episode 3 of the podcast, I went through my journey with like integrating meditation and journaling and yoga. I know that works for me because I've had a good chunk of time where I've tested it and it really, really stuck. So what I did was, okay, wake up at 6 a.m. I have like an hour and a half that I can do all of these things. So how am I going to do them in the best order that serves me? One of the things that I've found is the best way that serves you is to do something that is for you, not consuming what other people are doing, if that makes sense. So really, that scrolling on social media was not great for my mental health. And in the morning, our brains are a lot more susceptible to new information. So by having this kind of morning ritual, I was intaking information that I actually wanted to know, not necessarily what the algorithm wanted to send me. So what I did was, instead of scrolling in the morning, I would wake up, I would first off go and do my 15 minutes of meditation. So I would go into a different room, get my ambient lights on, get my music on, and 15 minutes of meditation. And this allowed me to clear my thoughts, help me ground myself, and help me center myself for the day. After that, I then went into doing my to-do list. So this is when I would check my emails and check my calendar, because then I could actually focus and be like, okay, this is actually what I need to do today. And because I work for myself, I'm doing this, but this is just an example, like work it however you would like to. But making a to-do list helped me focus into that today. So first, I created capacity. Second, I created focus. So from that focus, I then went for my walk. So I love going for a morning walk. The earlier you can get to the sun, the better, because that will help with setting your internal clock or your circadian rhythm. So you feel more energized in the day, in the morning, and you feel like your mood is boosted in the morning as well. So getting those morning lights is really, really important for me, and I really love it. And my dog Nala also loves it as well. So getting that morning light was super important to me, and I really love to listen to podcasts. So what I've done is condense the amount of podcasts that I listen to, and in the morning I really focus on listening to podcasts that are about self-development or business or something that I want to learn, like about health or herbs or anything like that. So really educational podcasts. And then I would go into like having a shower and then my breakfast and all of that. But through those times, through those little minute rituals that I've developed for myself, I am intentionally bringing myself back into the present moment. So doing the to-do list, doing the meditation, really focusing on relaxing my shoulders, setting up my body and my mind connection for the day, helps my nervous system feel safe from the get and go. If we are starting from a rushed space, we are going to feel rushed for the rest of the day. So that is kind of what I have done. And honestly, I have found such a positive change in my mindset, in my mood, even my energy levels throughout the day. I have found that by shifting these things has really supported me. So I used to work in an office as well. So if I want to give you an example of what I used to do in the office, because I had more limited time and I wasn't really writing a to-do list, I wasn't doing all that, I would do those basic things. Instead of 15 minutes of meditation, I'll do 5 to 10. I would still go for my morning walk, I'll do my journaling, and I'll make sure I have breakfast. So the things that really were important with me is that morning light, really grounding myself, finding that capacity, and really having a focus throughout the day. On the way to work, instead of listening to the radio or the news, I would put on that podcast so I could listen to it on the way to work, because my brain was still wanting to learn and wanting to gather new information, but I was choosing what information that I wanted to ingest or have. So when we're looking at a morning routine, we really want to find key rituals that really serve you. Now, a lot of the times when I'm talking to my clients, they have a busy life, and that's fine. That is totally fine. So rather than trying to commit a big chunk of time to just spend to yourself, because we have busy lives, we have kids, like sometimes you just don't get around to it. Some things that I really love to share with my clients to help them just ground themselves just in minute seconds And if we're specifically looking at the morning routine, is when you first wake up, I want you to do, before you scroll, before you do anything, is take 3 deep breaths and roll back your shoulders and relax them. Relax your tummy. So you're grounding yourself, you're breathing, you're regulating your nervous system, and you're releasing tension. Those are 3 main things. If you can, open your blinds as well, blinds or curtains, to let that light come into your room. Great. If you can go for a walk, even greater, but if not, that's okay. If you can have breakfast, that's a massive thing. Making sure that you're running off breakfast rather than coffee, or having something with your coffee, some kind of food, will help you and help regulate your nervous system and help set you up for the day. Another thing that I love doing and my clients love doing is doing 3 or writing 3 or thinking 3 things that you are grateful for today. They can be really small, they can be big, it doesn't really matter, but gratitude is a way to keep you coming back to grounding and centered and keep you in this positive mindset that I do have abundance, I do have things that are really supporting me in my life, and I'm really grateful for it. Also, the number 1 thing that you should be doing in your morning routine is having a big glass of water before your coffee, before anything. It sounds so little, but the amount of times that we forget to have water throughout the day because you are so busy, having that 1 glass of water in the morning sets you up for so much success in the day. It sounds small, but honestly, if you have that big glass of water throughout the day, your nervous system and your body is already stepping into the right foot. You've already done something really positive for your body to take you through the day. So we want to make our morning routines and morning rituals intentional at some degree. We want to have these moments that we're bringing ourselves back into the present moment, that we're bringing ourselves back to this grounding spot. They don't have to be large. Like, my morning ritual could be so far-fetched, but going back to can I take 3 deep breaths? In the car, can I listen to a podcast or a book rather than listening to the news? Can I say 3 things that I'm grateful for every single day? Can I go for a walk? Can I get the sun rays into my body so I can help with this circadian clock, to help with my energy? Having that big glass of water, having breakfast. Intentional times will help support and regulate your nervous system and set you up for the day. If you need further support, don't be afraid to reach out. You can follow me on Instagram, Intuitive Health Studio, or you can jump on my website, intuitivehealthstudio.com. I'd love to support you. I offer one-on-one consultations, making sure that you're listening to all the other episodes of the podcast as well. If you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments. I'd love to read them. But I hope this episode gave you some hints and tips onto supporting your morning routine. Remember, it doesn't have to be elaborate. It doesn't have to be expensive or fancy. Intentional moments is where it's at. It's where your nervous system thrives. So setting that routine, doing it day by day, will really help your nervous system feel safe. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast, and I look forward to talking to you in the next one. Bye.